Welcome back. We're like halfway through the chicken already.
We are doing great. We're doing great.
We started on the break, and we're going to tell them how to assemble it.
Yes.
And what goes into it. So I'll leave that to you. And I'm going to actually, but wait, before we do, because we had this little thing that we forgot to mention.
Yeah.
There's this. It's a balsamic glaze.
Yes, all the glazes is just a reduction of the balsamic vinegar. But look how pretty this is.
Right.
Like looks just like a restaurant. All we did is just presentation is everything.
Right.
You know, this is that wonderful.
And you can buy this at a local store.
Any grocery store, and it's just a balsamic glaze, which is just a reduction, which just means that it was just boiled down.
Right.
With a more intense flavor, and that's that kabocha squash salad, which is just the butternut squash salad with the rice.
Right. So I'm going to go.
What am I talking with the butternut?
I'm going to eat, and you tell me about this.
Yeah, this is from the Four Seasons in Philadelphia. This is one of my favorite recipes, and it's wonderful for a buffet as well. This is the orange chicken with wild rice pancakes, and I know that sounds really fancy, but it's very, very simple. What we start with first is that I just got some, chopped pecans in here, and what I did is that I just, in a dry pan, just roasted them for about, 5 or 6 minutes till they start to get nice and toasty and brown. Then what I do is that I start with my rice, just make it according to package directions. This is just a wild rice mix that you can get at any grocery store. And then from here, what I'm going to do is so you make it and just microwave it, and then I'm just going to add 2 eggs and a half a cup of breadcrumbs.
This salad's really good.
Isn't that fabulous?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I mentioned, anytime in my cooking classes, people just love it. And look how easy this is. Once again, you can use brown rice, white rice, any type of rice. This is just wild rice mix. And 2 eggs, a half a cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to mix it together. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make these into patties.
Now that's just to bind it together, right? For the patty form.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And what I did is that I made them into patties. And right here, that's all that is.
Okay.
And it's just made into patties with a couple tablespoons of butter and a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Now, a lot of chefs, they love butter for the flavor and the browning, and the olive oil helps the butter not burn. So that's a little tip for everybody. So that's all I did. Then over here, I took some chicken breasts and I pounded them out, with just a little bit of saran wrap or what have you.
Wrap them in the saran wrap so it doesn't spread it all over the kitchen.
Wax paper, anything you have, and I just pound it out. And there they are. Another thing is that if you don't want to pound it out, if you want them even thinner than this, you can just take your chicken breast and then take a sharp knife and just skim off some of the back end, to make it nice and thin. Once again, just a couple tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin always for the health benefits, and butter. And you can use vegan butter if you don't want to use butter too, which is just like, a soy canola mix, which I use and I get at the grocery store all the time.
Does it taste all right?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. And for every day, that's what I use. But for company, special occasions, if I really want the flavor a little bit more, I do that. Salt and pepper these, they are there to go.
Okay.
And basically that's the whole thing. The sauce over here, Kevin, all this is 1 cup of orange juice, 1 cup of chicken stock, salt and pepper. And what I did is I took a little bit of orange, the zest of 1 orange, not the white part because it's bitter. And then I'm just going to use my microplane, or anything you have, I just like the microplane. I always like I always like a little bit of the zest in here because it really, to me, like the fresh herbs, the fresh zest versus just, the dry, really make it elegant and tasty, and it's really just sets it apart versus, makes it look like a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I just reduced this down, and that's my sauce. How easy is that? But the other thing I did with my sauce is that I added a slurry to it. And you may ask, what is a slurry? Have you ever heard that term before?
Sure, yes.
Okay. Well, a lot of people don't, but all it is like a thickening agent. And even in your soup, I can use this too. Anything that I want to thicken something.
Right.
And I love it. So it's just 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of cold water.
Right.
And then I just stir it together. And what I did earlier is that it's a slurry, just a thickening agent. Always add cold to hot.
Yeah.
And that's all I did is put that in there. And that's why
you can use arrowroot too, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've never used that, but if you tell me so, I'm sure we can. I've never used that. I just, like everything found at the grocery store. You're talking about arrowroot powder? I'm not really sure.
It's
No,
at
I've
the
never
store.
used that.
It works too.
Okay, good. I'll try that next
It's got no
time.
flavor. Like
Okay,
it's less heavy than the cornstarch.
Okay, great. That's a great tip too. And so now we're going to play.
I gave a tip.
You got a tip, great. The other thing about it is that like a lot of people love this because it's elegant, it's easy, it's affordable. Now, this is from the Four Seasons in Philadelphia. Chef Heyman, he likes the Muscovy duck.
Right.
And I've got to tell you something, that did you know that Muscovy duck, it's a non-migrating bird from South America, but the great thing about it is that the Muscovy duck is actually less fatty and less caloric than chicken breasts.
I did
Believe
not
it or
know
not.
that.
I know people are really surprised. The duck breast without the skin. It's really amazing.
that.
Yeah,
No.
it's like 160 as far as calories to like 140. So it's less fatty and less caloric than chicken breast. So, and I tell you in my book where to get it. So it's all about the options. You can make it downtown just like this, pretty enough for a dinner party, but uptown if you want to get the wines, the helpful hints, the substitutions, the source guide, and where to buy. So I just want to show you how to plate this if you were serving it for one.
Okay.
If you were serving it for a buffet, what you would do is that because I did this for the Disney Corporation, what you would do is that you'd have, I like to do my patties all around like a big oblong platter, the chicken breasts inside, my dressing on the top, my sauce, the chopped pecans, and there you go.
Okay.
But for if you were going to do this, I'm going to put this over here.
Sure.
If you were going to do this for just a platter, I'm just going to take one of these chicken breasts here.
Actually, I'll come around.
Yeah.
There's some room.
Oh yeah, that's great. Thank you.
for the people.
And what I like to do is that, I take my chicken breasts, I get them whole normally because it saves money. Every time you have to get them thinned out or you have to break them apart, versus, half a chicken breast versus the whole, it's always much more money.
Right.
So I get them whole, I pound them out, and I didn't want them too thin because I always like to cut it like on a diagonal here. And I'm just going to show you how I plate it for, like if I was having a dinner party.
Okay.
But I just love that tip about duck because everyone thinks duck is very fatty, but it isn't.
It tastes heavy. That duck.
Yeah,
Some duck.
But not really the duck breasts, not really the duck breast so much. I'm just trying to get this knife. Next time I'm going to bring my own knives.
Oh, you want me to do it?
No, I'm going to just take this one right here. The one thing I can tell you we talked about earlier is that sharp knives is how you have to go, right? That really makes the difference in every kitchen.
This is true.
Isn't it true? It's really, really true.
It's good to have sharp utensils.
And you know what? I always say spend the money on the knives. Let other things go, that you don't necessarily need, but knives, I always go to the top quality knives because it's really, really important. So what I do is I'm just going to take my two rice pancakes, and I like to put these on the bottom here like that. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is just take my chicken breasts, and I like to try to find, this is nice and hot, but I like to try to find pieces that, you can lay them this way, just like around that are kind of, basically that they are the same size.
Oh, okay.
And some people like to do it like this, like around the platter. But you always want to get these ends cut off, like anything that doesn't look nice, you always want to get these ends cut off. And really take some nice pieces, and you can plate it any way you want.
And then we're going with the sauce over the top?
Yeah, well, what we're going to do is we're going to do...
Oh, the pecans too, huh?
Yeah, the pecans go last. But basically, you can do it this way. Like I said, presentation's everything. This is hot, so it's hard for me to touch this right now.
Right.
A lot of people like it like this. And then what we're going to do is let's do the sauce on top.
All right. Just drizzle it over the top?
Yeah. Just drizzle it over the top. I like to do it kind of like a flour kind of thing. Go ahead. All over. A lot of sauce.
A lot of sauce.
Yeah.
Plenty of sauce. Put plenty of it on.
Plenty of sauce. And then we're going to take our toasted nuts. Just want to make sure this is cool to the touch
I
here.
knocked it over.
That's beautiful. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our toasted nuts. And remember, nuts, really toasting them, just on top of the stove in a dry pan really brings out the flavor in them.
Definitely.
A lot of chefs tell me that. And then I just take some mandarin orange slices and basically just to bring out the orange, and I'm just going to plate them around the plate.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're doing this, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. I'm going to taste it. We'll wrap up and take care of unfinished business. So stay with us. Okay, welcome back. As promised, I'm going to taste this now.
Great.
I held off while they were gone, but I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget CelebrityKitchens.com. You can find out who's coming here, what's going to go on there.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell people how to get a hold of your book?
Great. My book, Impress for Less, you can get it from my website, www.impressforless.com, or at any Barnes & Noble, Borders, or any bookstore.
Nice. This is very good.
Isn't that terrific?
It's a nice light sauce, really.
Really, all it is 1 cup of orange juice, 1 cup of chicken stock, chicken breasts, mandarin orange slices drained, and some toasted nuts on top. How
Yeah.
easy is that? But it's elegant.
Very easy. And you have some book signings coming up, too. Is that
I've
on
got
your
lots
website?
of, well, I'm heading to Disney on Thursday to speak there about my book. And then I've got lots and lots of signings coming up, so people can always email me. Just go to my website and contact me there. Because I've got lots and lots of signings all over the country, and I'm looking hopefully to launch my own TV show too, so watch for that as well.
There you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Thanks so much
Bye-bye.
for having me.
Thanks, Cindy.
Daddy!